Shootout and Kane Johnson together for the toss.
Got a coin? Terrific. How's the call?
So Johnson wins the toss and go to the punt road end or the left of screen. Kane Johnson, a couple of premierships on this ground with the Crows. Tiger captain, and what a day for Matthew Richardson. As we go down to Ricky, Dennis talked about the late change. Ricky, you got a few details on it.
Yeah, Adam Thompson is the late withdrawal out of the Port Adelaide side. They've described it as general soreness. Pretty big loss to Port because he's a very good clearance player. They decided to bring back a tall defender in Troy Chaplin. He did miss 6 weeks this year with a broken leg. He's just come off 3 games of Sturt, so he's match fit and ready to go. And Port fans, if you can win by more than 40 points today, you'll see yourself back in the top 4 tonight. But I'm sure Richmond will fire up for Matty Richardson's 250th game.
Good on you, Rick. Sounding better.
Yeah.
One down by Simmons, who goes after the football. It's coming back. It's a free kick to the Tiger skipper, Kane Johnson. Little chip pass, a short one. Pettifer, forward of the wing, looks inside the forward 50. It floats towards the pocket. Schultz takes the mark on his chest. They started brilliantly last week, the Tigers. Can they repeat the dose?
Juicy matchup out there, Dennis. Chad Corns has been picked up by Joel Bowden in the centre of the ground at that first bounce.
Joel Bowden cut his teeth as an on-baller. Schultz kicked a couple of goals last week after he started on the bench. Starting today, steps inside the 50. Question of accuracy, and he misses all the way to the near side. Opening score of the afternoon then. Tigers on the board in Richo's 250th.
13-12 now from set shots. Jay Shaw, so around about the 50%. Chaplin's first touch to Burgoyne. Sean Burgoyne after Peter Burgoyne brought the ball back in. Cut off by Thursfield, and then Thursfield's kick towards Brown. It was probably intended though for Shaw's, whose quick kick goes to the pocket. Richardson with an early chance. Lade got back, and then Thurston's to Peter Burgoyne, who's had a very good month coming off halfback a la Andrew McLeod, as Motlop, talking about good months, finds Ebert.
That was a beautiful kick too.
Ebert, and that's a cute kick too, to Roden in the pocket against his old club, and Newman gives him a bit of a push and a boundary throw in.
They're a talented side, aren't they? That kick didn't hit its mark, but the 3 kicks out of defence were beautiful long kicks. That's the way to stretch an opposition defence. Get the ball there quickly through the air.
David Roden, a former Tiger, amongst the goals this season. Boundary throw in. Port attacking. In front, Lade goes after it on the ground. Johnson, clever. Tuck, just a looping hand pass to space. Simmons couldn't control it, and between he and Newman, they didn't do very well. Kasisi found space where there was none. Kicks it down towards full forward, off hands. Ebert at the back of the pack. King slips it away. Polak, not a bad kick. Edwards, promising player. Out wide, Richardson. Bit like Ben Cousins. The roar goes up as he kicks inside the forward 50. And the mark is taken out there by Brown. Wheels around, spots a vacant square, heads for it. Getting back is Chaplin. Corns there as well. Ball off the fingertips and across the line.
That'd be an interesting matchup too. Burgoyne picking up Edwards now. Edwards actually is one of those young kids who really pushes hard to the ball.
Kane Corns came into this round #1 in disposals in the AFL. His brother #6. The Cats had 3 in the top 7, and Port 2. Surgeon to Boak, who's made a very promising start to his career. That ball coming back. He's one of 4 Port Adelaide players playing at the MCG for the first time, and that's a brilliant mark by Ebert in the pocket. Yes, their kids, Boak and Gray and Westhoff amongst them, playing at the G for the first time in their careers. Third time Port have been here. They beat Collingwood early in the year, which helped set their early season up. The Freo round 1 game and the Collingwood here in the wet in round 4 really gave them the start they wanted. They got to top spot for 1 week, and they've come back strongly over the last month. Ebert's kick looked pretty good. It's a beauty from the pocket. He's 30th for the year.
Well, he's been their most productive forward this year, as Bruce just mentioned. Kicked 30 goals, 17 for the year. They worked the ball off the half-back line very successfully again, Port Adelaide. They were forced wide by the Tigers, but they've been prepared in the early part of this game to actually kick those balls wide, and that's a magnificent finish from Ebert. I like the look of their attack too, Port Adelaide. They've got plenty of options down there.
Brett Ebert, his best performance this season, 5 against the Kangaroos round 2. He struggled for goals in recent matches against the Tigers. Good bounce back in the middle. Wade tapped it down, goes again. Corn slips a hand pass away. Treadray kicks inside the forward 50, hangs a long time in the air, struck a player on the way down. Motlop assisted by Westhoff.
That is all class, and he's in white-hot form at the moment too, Motlop, averaging 4 goals a game in the last 3 weeks. Just watch the way that he gathered this ball. It's a quick kick in. This is the one the backmen don't like. Rains got caught under the ball. He's actually picking Motlop up, and he was just able to caress that ball, bring it to the ground there. That is great concentration and awareness there, and the way that he gathered that ball, and that's all class.
So early worries for Terry Wallace. Motlop, second leading goal kicker behind Ebert at the club, despite the fact he missed 7 this year. Kicked 34 for the Kangaroos in 2004. And he and Ebert have been very good. Johnson's handball excellent to Pettifer in the heart of the centre square to fall forward. And Shaw's might have, he and Richo went for the same ball. And now Edwards with a chance, and the Tigers get there first.
He's a clever little player, Edwards. I like the power that actually the Tigers have got in the midfield at the moment. Kane Johnson lined up in there alongside Joel Bowden and also Tuck. I mean, they've got 3 hard nuts in the centre. They just need to make sure that they can gather their fair share of ball at ground level. Good play there by Schultz just to shovel the ball out there by hand. And he's a real live wire, this kid. There's a lot to like about him.
Mark Williams on the phone. 3 goals in the last 5 kicks in this game. A bit like the penalty shootout last night. Not like the rest of the game, though. Burgoyne knocks it down. Chad Corns emerges with it, goes inside the forward 50. What a well-weighted kick that was. And Motlop marks 5 metres in from the line. No margin for error. Short one is on, not 15. Kane Corns back towards Motlop. And it goes out of bounds. And Kane Corns arguing his case it was in fact 15. I doubt it was.
Not 15, Cornsy.
Clearly by the umpire, they're not 15. That must be the attacking pocket. They've gone there 3 out of the 4 times they've gone into the forward line.
Lade and Simmons, so the 2 5s at it. Rains. Handball by Pettifer was okay. Now Newman to set up. Neat kick, isn't it, to Bowden, who's also normally a very neat kick. That one into the centre for Johnson. Had a lot of the footy last week, Johnson. Okay to Hyde, but Lade's got him. And then Hyde under pressure. Trouble now. Roden's hands were good to Corns. Motlop held on to, surely.
He's undersized, Rains.
Well, Motlop, that's... Well, the umpire's going to give him a reprieve here. That was a very strange decision from where he's at.
Sorry, Bruce, he's just undersized there. Rains just grabbed hold of Motlop. There's a mismatch in size. If they can isolate that one-on-one, that will really work to Port's favour.
He's kicked 12-4 from set shots, and you just wonder why he'd give off from here. Anyway, he has a second chance. He's an interesting kick. He kicks the ball low and long. He kicked that extraordinary goal at the Gabba this year, that long check side from outside 50. He normally keeps the ball pretty low. And that one he's careful with and he goes. So he's got 2. Port off to a fly.
They look to have some real goal-kicking power in their forward line at the moment too. Motlop has come back into the side and he's been in terrific form. They've got the young kid Westhoff there, who's averaging 3 goals a game in his last 3 weeks. Ebert is alongside him. They've got Gray at ground level and they've got Treadray up at centre half forward. It's a really nice combination, balanced forward line.
So the margin is 10 points. Terry Wallace has won 5 out of 10 against Mark Williams. And we spoke of Williams' winning percentage before the game. So imposing. 5 out of 10 is not bad. Free kick to Corns.
Cornsies! Thanks.
Cornsies.
Gotta go back to that player, Troy. He was up there. You're 2 or 5 metres away at least.
Good umpire Nichols.
Got to go back to the player taking the kick, not to the man on the mark. No.
So that ratio of goals to kicks, we could have 2 goals and 2 kicks right here.
Well, I don't think that was an intentional throw away. I mean, there's a bloke who's just throwing it back towards the player that he's supposed to direct the ball back to as he keeps an eye on the man. His direct opponent who's pushed forward into the forward line. So, but the penalty's severe.
Chad Corns directly in front, 40 metres out. Kicks another one. Uh-oh.
Well, coming into this game, you would think that, and I asked Mark Williams this question before the game about complacency, because they're the things that you've got to guard against on the road. Bright sunny day here in Melbourne. Richardson's 250th game. You can beat yourself on a day like today, but they've started particularly well. We just see that free kick again. The umpire saying that he couldn't, or he's supposed to have directed that ball straight back to Corns.
Kick 4 last week, Chad Corns, Ricky.
Yeah, well, Tim Watson talked about the mismatch of Rains on Motlop. Well, Terry Wallace has agreed, and he's moved Will Thursfield to the dangerous Motlop, and Rains has gone to Gray.
So the change made there, and Richmond out of the centre with Polak this time to half forward. Pettigrew under pressure, and then Carlisle under the pump. Edwards did very well to Foley, to Pettigrew. He'll like it from here. He'll fancy it. And goals. He's much maligned, Tim. He's having a pretty good year. He's up to 27, and he's about a 30-goal-a-year man.
That's right. Good forward pressure here just to make sure that they couldn't get the easy exit. Here's Edwards again. That's why I like that kid. He always pushes in on the ball. Burgoyne's picking him up, but he's actually letting him go to the ball, just hoping to actually become a rebound player. And that's dangerous. And Edwards will hurt you because he is a hunter of the football, and he can be, you know, clever with his hands as well.
Something to celebrate. And what about that? Kane Pettifer, like watching a great sunset. And away he goes, absolutely delighted. Play restarts. The umpires today, Farmer, Ellis and Nichols. Patterson's over the football. Joel Bowden getting a free kick. He was involved in that skirmish in there for the football. Newman finds Brown, 60 metres out. Nathan Brown. Career high 6 against Port Adelaide. 3 weeks before he broke his leg. Goes away on his right side. Ambitious kick. Has it got the carry? It did. So precise. And Pettifer a chance to bring up his 2nd goal in as many kicks.
No one else in their forward line may even attempt that kick but Nathan Brown. He's a class act, Nathan Brown, on his non-preferred side. That is just a magnificent kick there to Pettifer.
Really important kick, this one. Down by 10, all Port, and suddenly Kane Pettifer with back-to-back goals has pulled Richmond right back into it.
That's another magnificent kick by Pettifer, and that's what they needed to do. They got the centre break again through Joel Bowden, and they've got some lively types in their forward line too. Richardson's going to play out of the goal square. Edwards is at ground level. He's now been picked up by Loney. It's Burgoyne Peter who's going to play the spare man across half back. They've got Schultz further up the ground alongside Brown, and further up still they're playing Rewalt at centre half forward.
Last 5 weeks coming in for Pettifer, 3-3, 4-3 and 2 goals. So he's been averaging 3 goals a match, and at 2 right now. And that's a good return. So the Tigers hitting back hard in a free-flowing opening term. Not completely unlike what we saw here last week. Tivendale caught up. probably not quite as exciting as that first quarter against Hawthorn, but the scoreboard ticking over.
It'll be interesting to see what Terry Walsh is going to do here too, because Burgoyne is free across half-back for Port Adelaide. Hyde is their free player now. They're trying to reconstruct themselves, the Tigers, across half-back.
Patterson just pushed Brogan.
Who's kick? You take it. You take it. No,
So-
here. Your kick, no, bring it back.
The last few weeks, in fact, the last month, it's been Polak that's been playing that free player across half-back. He's got his hands full today. He's picking up Treadray.
Which is what the Ox talked about at the start, that he would like to see him have an opponent, and he has. Giloni didn't really get a feel there for Revolt, but Revolt was a bit slow to really put the tackle on. Here is Treadray. So Treadray playing up the ground, out of the goal square. Good kick to Ebert. Tough pocket for Ebert, but his first shot for goal was a beauty from this side, from the right forward pocket.
He's had his hands full. Reigns in the early part of this game, hasn't he? He's been shifted off Motlop. Now he's on to Ebert. They're quite prepared to take that space deep in the pockets too, Port.
And this would take a very good kick. He's 23-11 from set shots this year, so about 70%. And that never a chance, and he missed the lot. So disappointing result. Port by 4 points over the Tigers.
Virtually impossible, that kick for a left footer. Now Bowden, who started in midfield. A little chip, still inside the defensive 50. Foley, back to Bowden. Here's McGuan. He's at left half back to King. Away he goes. Jake the Snake up towards the wing. Couple of bounces. Love him. Kicks inside the forward 50. Revolt came to the contest and really didn't compete. And as a result, Port Adelaide bring it away. Kick to the outer side by Burgoyne. Corns to half forward and Westhoff.
Gee, worked hard, Corns.
Wheels around Westhoff down towards full forward. Ebert will get a free kick.
Red Ebert, your kick, crazy.
Reigns again.
Right around him, mate.
So Brogan's mark at centre half back set up a chain of events that should end in a goal for Brett Ebert.
And it looks like it's Reigns, the defender, that they want to expose Port Adelaide in this first quarter. They're taking him back to the goal square. Good play there by Westhoff to get the ball on quickly too.
Ebert 15 metres out, gets it.
Well, he's not tall, but he's extremely strong, and just in those one-on-one contests, if you can isolate a defender who normally plays across half-back, that's where Reigns really struggled again. It was just the fact that he couldn't just hold his ground against Ebert, hung on to him, and that is clearly a free kick, and that's the second time he's done that in the first quarter of this game. They've shifted Reigns again. He's gone to half-back. He'll pick up Roden.
So Ebert a couple, Motlop a couple, Corns the other for the power. Burgoyne, no free kick there to the Tigers. Tivendale, long inside the 50. Richo's big fly from the back. Revolt almost, and then Carlisle on hands and knees. Thurston's. Tight traffic there, and Pettigrew's kick not going far. Howard called to play on by the umpire, gets to 50, loads it up. It's going to be a behind. So Richmond up to 3-3. 6 scoring shots. Port Adelaide without a miss on 5, though Ebert did kick one out on the fall.
Toby Thurston's enjoying a good season as well. Long kick, 60 metres straight to a man. Brogan, short of the wing, kicks down towards half forward. Westhoff tried to knock it onto his own advantage. Will find it on the ground. Heard a voice too. Cassisi provided that voice. 55 metres out. Spots the lead from Corns. Awkward half volley. Didn't stick the landing. Still a dangerous ball for the Tigers. McGuan, desperate trouble.
Tackle.
And it's going to be a free kick. And it will be taken by David Roden.
Just a big assignment, isn't it, for Joel Bowden? He's picked up Chad Corns in the centre of the ground. Now Chad's taken him deep as a key defender, and he'll pick him up in the goal square. He'll come out of the goal square and play as a key forward. And that just shows you the flexibility and the versatile of this Port Adelaide lineup.
David Roden this season has kicked 20 goals in 15 games. He managed 43 and 65 for the Tigers on a goal-kicking spree, and he adds to it.
The way the game's been played at the moment is exactly how Port Adelaide want to play their football. They are a hard-running side. They love this open style of football, the attacking style of football. And Richmond are going to have to make the most of every opportunity when they go forward. Here's Maguire being wrapped up in the tackle. That's great forward pressure. And Chad Corns almost kicked that ball off the ground, went through the goals too. It was a long-range shot. And Roden's been a very good pickup. Last player taken in the national draft.
He's one of the stories of the year, Roden, isn't he?
Great story for the Port Adelaide side.
Well, Port kicked 5-9 last week in the opening term against West Coast. There's 6 without a behind in this first quarter today. So they've got their kicking boots on. Surgeon, Cassisi, whose stats in the last month have been outstanding. Sean Burgoyne to Surgeon. Surgeon's kick to space. Now Brogan to run on. He's got Corns. That's Kane Corns. Did very well on the left side. Careful kick, not particularly good. Boat did well. Now wrapped up by Foley. Kane Corns in trouble. Ball up.
I didn't see a high contact. Sorry.
Kane Corns is picking up Foley. That's a run with roll for him, but he's still getting plenty of the ball.
So over the top, Johnson. Howards handball to nobody in particular.
Brogan, Burgoyne, Sean, Cassisi, Chad Corn, 60 metres out, just sets it up to his brother. This is wonderful stuff. Some great names, some of the great names of South Australian football alive and well on the forward line today. The Corns brothers and Ebert.
They've been in great form, Port Adelaide, over the last 3 weeks, and it's been their stars that have been getting plenty of the ball. In the early part of this game, it's their stars that are getting plenty of the ball. Burgoyne, the Corns, Ebert.
Corns, delicate kick. There's the first blemish. Mind you, up until then, it had been anything but pointless.
So the Tigers. Newman to set up. To Rains. He needs a couple of touches. He's had a combative opening. He's really struggled early against the ball coming in quickly. Newman's kick. Patterson got hands in the back on Corns. Back to Peter Burgoyne, who, as Tim said, has been loose across half-back. Surgeon to Cassisi. He's had a lot of it, which he's done in recent weeks. He's been a fast starter in a couple of his matches.
Motlop's free here.
Now, can he get it to him? He does. So Motlop, at about 60 metres, goes bang and goes for goal and kicks it.
Oh, wow.
He's got power, doesn't he?
That was I actually thought that he was kicking that ball to the top of the square. He just came on. He replaced Chad Corns, so that's why he had nobody on him. Richmond were trying to rearrange themselves. They could see that Chad Corns was off the ground. They were trying to find a man. He had plenty of time. He's way outside 50. That is a glorious kick.
Three goals to that young man, Ricky Olorenshaw.
Yeah, Port have been very clever with their use of their bench so far. In that instance, Motlop yelled off to Chad Corns to come off the ground. He snuck into the forward pocket. Joel Bowden didn't realise who his opponent was, and that's how they got the goal.
Sneaky. Un-Australian, but sneaky. Roden. Effective too. Roden's hand pass to no one in particular. Hyde feeds it back then to Tuck. Now Edwards. Hyde at close quarters. Richmond in desperate trouble. The pace really worrying them at the moment. Pearce. Good tackle by King. Hyde got it across to Bowden. Johnson. Now Edwards. Sweeping hand pass forward. Taken by Newman. Where's Richardson? Not in the vicinity, but Brown's got the mark within scoring range. So Richo started last week with a goal in the opening minute. Just the one hand pass so far today. Not sure about that forward line. I think 3 times already Richardson and Schultz have flown together. Here's Brown. Oh, that's a beautiful kick. Page 3 of the textbook.
He's all class, Nathan Brown, no question about that. He'll be much better next season too after a full pre-season. They seem to have got on top of his injury. They worked that ball well from congestion, the Tigers. Once again, Edwards just chose the right option coming forward. And Brown, who just seems to be able to time his leads to perfection deep from in the forward line. And Dennis is right. They have had trouble in the early part of this game with Richo and Schultz both ending up at the same position to time their leads.
Kicked over 55 goals in 02 and 03, Brown, when he was leading goal kicker at the Dogs. And has a good recent record against Port Adelaide. 9 goals in his last 2 coming in. As Tim said, he's going to be much better next year.
Gee, they're mixing it up deep in their forward line, Port too. They've got Lade right down in the goal square alongside Motlop now, and McGuan's picking up Lade. Now that is a mismatch if they can get it there quick enough and high enough. They just need him to actually just stay in the goal square, Lade.
So Roden to come wide, and Thurston's has provided the run for him. And Thurston's got Brogan really short if he wants him. And Surgeon, so not 15. Now Surgeon's got to arch his back and go for goal here, and kicks from the 50 and hits the post. Free kick, I think, to Richmond.
Against Lade in the back.
Hands in the back.
So Thursfield to get it.
That's what they'll be trying to do, Bruce. So with Lade and his height advantage and his strength advantage, just trying to isolate that contest deep inside their forward line.
Brown. And again, Edwards impressing, isn't he, early? Good, neat kick to Tivendale.
Tivendale right on the wing. Go across the ground to Howard, and does. Now Tuck is breaking. Well, Howard has to get the ball first. Now King pushing it through. Eventually it finishes with Tuck. He can kick it a long way. He's right on the 50. Bending it. What's he done? To behind.
Come here, Toby.
A lot of activity at the base of the pack there with the pole. Now a chance for Schultz after the kick in to swing it back towards full forward, and Richardson worked under it. Thurstons did well. Burgoyne, Cassisi. Thurstons runs up towards centre half back, kicks to the wing, and Ebert again. His strength in getting that early position and then proving unmovable. A real problem for the Tigers at the moment. Busy interchange as Ebert finds 1 of 2 coming off. It's like ice hockey, and at the risk of sounding like a fuddy-duddy, which is what people sound like when they're old and use phrases like fuddy-duddy, don't like it. After a goal interchange, I think. Here's Edwards over the football tread race, stolen away by a teammate. Roden slips a hand pass to Loney. Loney is 45 metres out for space, and Motlop, he's already got 3. Will he try for 4? There's a man on in the square.
Oh,
well, he should have done a little bit better with that. Westhoff was there a long time, and I think he saw him the first time round, and he dummied to his right.
that's a bad sign when you see a player do that too. Richo just in the one-on-one contest thought he'd been pushed out, or at least had his arm taken in the contest. That's what he's signalling to the umpire. I reckon he's got a case there too. Motlop should have squared that up.
Had a couple of chances, Westhoff and Lade.
And you don't want that to seep into a team either.
So Thursfield to Bowden. First time that Thursfield and McGuan have played on the same team this year.
He's been good, this kid.
Certainly has, Edwards, and he uses a footy to Patterson, that goes long and low, and Revolt read it very well. It was going to Brown, and he cut across in front of his teammate to take the mark.
You just got to keep playing this kid. He's going to be a footballer, Jack Revolt. That was really smart the way he did that. His direct opponent there, Surgeon, just completely lost him in the contest. And that's the part of the ground that you want to attack when you're going forward. A good pair of hands.
So he hasn't kicked a goal in his 2 matches. He played against the Bombers in round 9 and the Kangas in round 14. Is this his first goal in AFL? It's a good-looking kick.
Really?
There's a lot of sparkle about this kid too. Just watch his reaction after he kicks his goal. Everybody is excited and happy after they kick their first AFL goal. There's Patterson. That's the area of the ground that you have to try and attack. Brown was going to take that mark if Revolt didn't take it. Good concentration. Bit of an awkward ball drop. And here's the reaction coming up now. Just a clenched fist, just a finger in the air. And he's happy to get that one out of the way.
So the margin 10 points, controllable enough. Had some tough times, that group, in the coach's box this season. Brian Royal, Gordon Casey. Brian Royal, a good player he was. Hand pass comes across from Tuck. Still a live ball. Thompson. Barton was involved earlier. Now King gets a hand pass away. Stolen away by Burgoyne. Kicks down towards full forward. Motlop almost the mark. Crawls after it. He's got no support. Surrounded by Tigers. Leaving the ball behind initially. McGuan goes back and finds it. In trouble. Taken down. Pollack moved off the line of it. Motlop inadvertently got it forward to Burgoyne, who bounces it through in the centre. Johnson a half chance back in the middle. Couldn't clear it for the Tigers, and then weight of numbers just swarmed it forward for Port.
Disappointed. I reckon he'd probably get 9 out of 10 of those at training. He's so clever. Here's Burgoyne. Now Bowden selling a dummy there. Now McGuan. Yet to play in a winning team, McGuan. Edwards in the same boat, but McGuan's second season, so his 10th game, and he hasn't won a match. That's a poor kick. Tigers have got the numbers. Pettifer's been lively. Hyde stood up, back to Pettifer. Under pressure. Now Simmons has to search for it, and the ball's running away. Brogan with him. Back onto his left side. Uses Jackson. Did well. Very well. He had a good feel for it there, but he'll be run down. He just gets the handball in. Now Tuck, important kick. Left foot, close. It's a goal. They're coming strongly, the Tigers.
They've fought their way through that slowly, the Tigers. He's not the best finisher in the business. Here's Simmons with the ball that opened up the play. Jackson took the right option here. Just held on to the ball a touch too long. Almost got run down here. Just got it off, and then Tuck screwed a ball back over his shoulder. What I really liked after this goal was the enthusiasm shown by all the young Richmond forwards. They all rushed towards Tuck then to congratulate him, and that's a great sign.
6-4 then the Tigers, their best first term this season, their second best quarter of the season, but they trail by 5 points.
It's a real shootout. It's a real shootout, this game at the moment.
Which is good for the spectators. We've seen a few at this ground this season on Sundays. Enjoyed them all. Burgoyne's hand pass was stifled, gets his second chance, feeds it out wide, taken by Chad Corns, back to Burgoyne. This is Sean, now off the ball. Corns was being held, advantages paid. Burgoyne, telling kick towards full forward. Mark taken by Ebert, gets the goal I fancy. Down goes the goal umpire. He was nabbed but not in time.
I'm pretty happy with this goal. Do you see anything? Too far away. Yeah, and I was pretty confident it was a goal as well. So we'll go. It was 100% sure. 100% sure. 100% sure it was a goal.
The vote is 2-0. It's a goal.
Just got there. It'll be interesting to have a look at this replay. He thought he had plenty of time. Here's Burgoyne with the really deep kick. It covered the pack, and great concentration there by Ebert, and just got the ball in time there, cleaning up the goal umpire in the process. He's kicked 3 now. They're 2 small forwards, or Motlop and he. I mean, you'd have to classify Motlop as a small forward. Have done the real damage in this first quarter.
Correct decision. So 3 to Ebert, 3 to Motlop. Dennis mentioned Richmond's best first term for the year. It's Port Adelaide's best first term for the year. So it's the ultimate shootout, isn't it? A 14-goal opening term. 8 goals to 6. Port needed it because the Tigers are doing well in the centre. Wilson started interchange to Boak, to Peter Burgoyne. And left foot out wide. Now Motlop being held on to. Should have got a free kick. King was retarding him. Back to Hyde, back to King. Good effort there by Gray. Now Hyde outnumbered, but hands okay. Jackson sets Foley a task, but he likes that. Johnson to sit for it. Edwards takes it. Edwards has had a very good opening term. He's in a bit of strife here, though. Good smother across the boot coming from Kane Corns. Tigers get it inside 50 very slowly. Comes back to Hyde. Hyde with some space now. Goes from 55 to full forward. Revolt. It's a goal. It's rolled all the way.
That's exciting. If you turn up as a Richmond supporter today and you see a young kid who's in his first season of AFL football kick 2 goals in a quarter of football, you walk away from the game, no matter what the result is, you walk away from the game thinking, oh, we've got a bit of a future. They're going to continue to play these kids. Edwards again, even though he took the wrong option on that time when he had the ball, he did the right thing. Actually, that wasn't.
It was Hyde's goal.
Sorry, it was Hyde's goal. I thought it was Revolt kicked the goal there.
A lot to like about this term. Raining goals. Hyde on the run. Some experience and class on that bench. As we approach quarter time, Johnson went down yet again. Roden, was he pushed in the back? Foley was taken forward as well. Roden comes again, getting through Burgoyne. He's slippery, gets it away. This is Loney. Pushed as he kicked. It bounces inside the 50. Ebert, who's been terrific, lays it off. Loney, a left footer, can pull it back. High ball. Motlop works well. Motlop lets it go. And that might be a goal. Loney.
Well, he fooled everyone, Loney, then. He's running off half-back. Got the ball outside 50. Here's a wonderful bit of play by Burgoyne. This is where he does his best work, just breaking out of clearances, just with speed. And that's a kick from outside 50. You think Motlop at this stage is actually going to contest the ball. He decides to let it go, and nobody gets a fist on it.
Terrific kick. What a terrific quarter. Port kicked 10 goals in the third quarter against the Dockers in round 1, but this is their 5th highest quarter ever.
I don't think we've seen a more entertaining quarter of football this year.
16 goals scored in the opening term. Johnson has been good in the centre square. So's Roden. Chad Corns, well done to Lade. Might be time for one more for round 10. Ebert nearly. Polak got back. Motlop out on the full.
He did well then, Ebert, though, just to bring the ball to ground. He was competing against Polak, who obviously had a height advantage.
And King to bring it wide to Simmons. So at quarter time, Josh just tells me there've only been 4 higher first quarter scoring quarters in the history of the game. So it's the 5th highest first quarter we've had. How's that? Tigers are 46 and they trail. The Power of 57. So what an opening term we've seen here. The heaviest first quarter in VFL AFL history was 110 points when Melbourne and North Melbourne were both 55 apiece in 1991. We're on 103. You can see the state of play at the bottom. Port having a big lead on a couple of occasions, but Richmond coming back. So it's 7-4 to 9-3. And Ox, if I said to you that Richmond had kicked 7 in the opening term, I would be thinking that Richo had got 3, but it's not the case.
Well, you would have thought being in his 250th game, but he's not. He's been working hard, but he hasn't got the results. When he's been close to goal, Thurston's has been picking him up, but when he's been outside 50, Chaplin has gone to him. He just hasn't had any room. They've had no cohesiveness down inside the attacking 50. In fact, him and Schultz, as Dennis said, have collided on a couple of occasions. That's just lack of talk and a lack of game time between the two. You'll see this one here, Schultz is backing back. It's a no-no as a forward. You can't have your space taken away by a player backing back in. So they'll need to sort that out. Jade Rawlings would have had a chat to them at quarter time, and you'd expect them to stay right away from each other come the second quarter.
Thanks, Ox. Down to Ricky as Mark Winnings goes. Oh, Ricky, interesting. In the last 5 weeks, Port have averaged 120 points, and they seem to have reinvented their forward line.
Yeah, they have been very high scoring in the last few weeks, and one of the reasons why is they use their interchange bench to rotate their forward line. We've seen it in the past. Midfields rotate off the bench, but the actual forward line's rotating, and that's causing a lot of problems for the Richmond defenders with their matchups. It takes them a long time to work out who their opponent is. Terry Wallace at quarter time is very animated with his players. He reminded them how last week they got off to a great start, then took the pressure off. So he did say to just keep the pressure up for the rest of this quarter. And the good news for both sides is no injuries, so I'm sure we'll see some more free-flowing footy.
Good on you, Rick.